The March SAT is right around the corner, and either you've been studying like crazy or you are hoping to channel that luck of the Irish that comes with St. Paddy's Day month. Either way, you've come to the right place because by the end of this video, you are going to feel more confident and ready to tackle the March SAT. Hi guys, Laura Whitmore here, founder of Strategic Test Prep. For those of you who are new to my channel, I'm a test prep coach with over 18 years experience tutoring the SATs. I recently scored a 1590 on the November digital SAT, and my talented tutor team and I have helped coach hundreds of students to surpass their goals on the test. I am constantly analyzing trends, looking for high probability questions, and I think I have come up with 8 questions that I am sure are going to show up on the March SAT. Now, before we get started, comment below and let me know what your goal is on the March SAT and what you've been doing to prepare. All right, guys, before we get into the questions, if you're really trying to get a higher English score on the SAT, we are giving away our SAT English workbook for free right now. So if you want to learn new strategies, new approaches, tips, and tricks, head to our website. I will link it up here right now. Subscribe to our newsletter and we will email you a copy. All right, guys, let's start with my first prediction, which is you will be given a system of equations with R's in the answer choices. So when I look at this problem, immediately I want to go to DESMOS. Now, as you can see, the equations are infinite because one line is directly over the other. And if you have answer choices with R's in them and they're sets of coordinates, you're going to want to type in the sets of coordinates right underneath on a new line. I would recommend starting with answer choice D and working up from there because College Board typically likes to bury the answer at the end. So if we go back and we look at D, it's negative 6R over 7 plus 5 sevens comma R. Let's put that one in first. Now notice it says add a slider for R, which I just did. And when I move this slider, see how it goes on the line exactly? All the other answer choices that are wrong, that dot is going to move in other directions and it won't be on the line the whole time. So that's how I know D is the right answer. You want to avoid on this one using the y-intercept, x-intercept, like putting in zeros for those because sometimes 2 answers will be right. So your best bet is to use DESMOS for this. All right, my next prediction is that you're going to have a problem on this test that deals with putting something in vertex form. So this one says the quadratic function g models the depth in meters between the surface of the water of a seal T minutes after the seal entered the water during a dive. The function estimates the seal reached its maximum depth of 302.4 meters 6 minutes after it entered the water. Okay, so if we had a graph, essentially what's happening is the seal starts here at the surface. It's going to dive down and hit a depth, and then it's going to come back up to the surface. So they're saying at this depth, 6 minutes later at 302.4 meters, that's where it hit its lowest point. That's the vertex, guys. So when I'm given this in vertex form, or when I'm giving a point in a vertex, I want to put it in vertex form. So it's going to be y equals a x minus 6 squared plus 302.4. Okay. Now we need to figure out the A value. Most of the time on the SAT, spoiler, the A value ends up being negative 16. So if you're in a pinch and you're not sure, you don't have time to figure out the A value, just put in negative 16. You'll have the best chance of still getting the point. Now, what we're going to use is another point. They said it basically came back to the surface of the water 12 minutes later. So here we are 12 minutes later. So at 0:12, there's a point. So I'm going to put in 12, or sorry, 12, 0, because minutes is X. So let's fix that. I'm going to put in 0 for Y, and I'm going to put in 12 for X and solve for A. Okay, so I just need to do negative, and it makes sense A is going to be negative because the parabola is flipping down. So that's exactly what I want to see. Okay, so it looks like A is negative 8.4. That's weird. That's not normal for the SAT, but that's okay. Now it says, now that we have the whole equation, it says, based on the function, what was the depth to the nearest meter of the seal 10 minutes after it entered the water? Well, what I'm going to do is essentially, let me erase all of this. Now we know the A value. I'm going to put in A is negative 8.4. And I'm going to go ahead and put in 10 for X. So we've got negative 8.4. When X is 10, we have 4 squared plus 302.4. So we're going to have Y equals negative 8.4 times 16 plus 302.4. So that'd be negative 134.4 plus 302.4, which we get 171.6 meters. Does that make sense? Does that track? Yes, because at 10 minutes, it's going to be coming back up towards the surface. It's not as deep as the deepest point. That's totally believable. My answer feels like it is the right one. All right, if you guys have not subscribed to my channel yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. Make sure you smash that subscribe button and notification bell below, because I come out with useful free content every single week to help you master the SATs. All right, my third prediction is that you're gonna get a question on consecutive odd integers, and it's all about how you set it up. So if you have a set of 4 consecutive odd integers, basically you're gonna make the first one X, the next one X plus 2, the next one X plus 4, and the next one X plus 6. So here's your first, here's your second, here's your third, here's your fourth. Because odd integers skip a number every time. That's why you have to add 2 and then 4 and then 6. Okay, now it says the product of 12 and the fourth odd integer. Okay, the product of 12 and the fourth odd integer. Well, the fourth one is this X plus 6. So we're going to do 12 times X plus 6 is at most. So that means it's going to be less than or equal to, it says 26 less than the sum of the first and the third integers. Okay, well, the first and the third is this one and this one. So I'm going to add those together and then take away 26 because they said it's 26 less. And then essentially I'm solving. But what's cool is I don't have to do anything more. I can already see that the answer is A because it matches up with exactly what I wrote. All right, my fourth prediction is that they are going to have a conversion problem on the test. So this one we have the area of a rectangular region is increasing at a rate of 250 square feet per hour. Which of the following is closest to the rate in square meters per minute? Okay, notice how we have one-dimensional conversions right now. It's just in meters and feet. We need it in square meters and square feet. So what you're going to want to do on these problems first is square your conversion so that it's in square units. So that means 1 square meter equals whatever 3.28 squared is. Okay, so that equals 10.7584 feet squared. Okay, now I have the right conversion, so I can go ahead and set up my ratios and multiply. So I've got 250 square feet per 1 hour. Now I want to get rid of square feet and get it into square meters. So I'm going to multiply, and I'm going to put square feet on the bottom, so that square feet cancels with square feet. And then I'm going to put my 1 meter on top, my 1 meter squared. And then they want it in minutes. So I also want to get rid of hours. So I'll put 1 hour on top so that hours cancels with hours. And there's 60 minutes in an hour. So I will put that on the bottom. Now at this point, I'm just multiplying straight across. So I have 250 times 1 times 1, that's 250. And I've got meters squared. And then on the bottom, I'm going to have 10.7584 times 60, which is 645.504. And then basically at this point, I divide and I get 0.3872. And that looks like it's going to be A. All right, guys, this video is brought to you by Preptly. If you're looking to get some last-minute prep in to push you over the finish line before the March test, head to the App Store or Google Play and download Preptly now. You can get over 1,000 unique practice questions just like those on the SAT in the palm of your hand. So if you're on your phone a lot and you want to be a little bit more productive, and you also like the idea of doing a little bit of daily practice each day, maybe you don't have time to do a full test, Preptly is perfect. You can just get as much or as little in as you want. So I'm going to link up here right now. Go grab Preptly and get prepping and get ready for that March SAT. All right, my 5th prediction is that you're going to need to use a nonlinear regression in Desmos. So as you can see from this question, I have a table. Okay. And then they give me an equation. Now, with at least 2 values on the function and the equation of the function, I'm in good shape to use a regression. There's a few things I should mention, though. They said f is a linear function. So that means the top of the equation, I'm going to put in this f of x spot what the equation of a line is, which is mx plus b. Also, when you do a regression in Desmos, it cannot read function notation. So instead of writing g of x on this side, I'm going to use y because Desmos reads y's and x's. But let me get in there and show you what I mean. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is type in the word table, and a table will automatically pop up. And then we're going to put in our values. So we had negative 27.3, negative 9.0, and then we had 21.5. Okay. On the next line now, I'm going to tell Desmos what type of function this table is for. So when I use a regression, I can't just use y's and x's because the table, the headings are x1, y1. So I'm going to type in y1, and instead of using an equal sign, I need to use a tilde. Just roll with it. This is how a regression works in Desmos. It's just how the program runs. Then I'm going to type in the rest of it. So we had mx1, because I want to pull from the table, plus b divided by x1 plus 3. Now, as you can see, here's my graph. If we go back, though, to the question, that's a graph of g of x. They said, what is the y-intercept of the graph of y equals f of x? Okay, so they want the y-intercept of just the f of x, not g of x. So if you go here and you say, oh, the y-intercept is 12, you're going to be wrong because that's the y-intercept of g of x. F of x is the line. Remember, guys, f of x is the top part of that. It's the mx1 plus b. So as you can see, if we go over, there's regression parameters, and Desmos tells us what the y-intercept of the line is. It says b is 36. So it did all the work for us, and then we just know the answer is A. All right, guys, my next prediction is that you're going to have a tricky linear question. These come up pretty much on every test. They show up on everybody's test, even though there's some variations from like individual tests. This is one that comes up every single time. So let me show you what to do. It says the cost of renting a carpet cleaner is $52 for the first day and $26 for each additional day. Which of the following functions gives the cost in dollars of renting the carpet cleaner for D days when D is a positive integer? Okay, I have $52 for the first day. So that is basically going to be a number right here on the outside. And then I have $26 for each additional day. Well, if D is days, I'm going to multiply it by D minus 1, okay? Why is that? Because the first day is already accounted for here. So we have to take out the first day. So you don't want to multiply 26 by all of the days, because then that would mean that the first day you're counting twice. You're charging them $52 and $26. So then what we do is we just solve. So we have 52 plus 26D minus 26, and that's how you end up with 26D plus 26, which is A. All right, guys, if you're finding this predictions video helpful so far, show me some love, hit the like button below. All right, my next prediction is that you're gonna have a quadratic where they talk about the number of real solutions. Now, in this case, this one has a constant. So if you see a constant, you can use DESMOS and make a slider. So it's going to be very, very easy. If there's no real solution, we're going to basically move K around until the graph is floating and it doesn't touch the x-axis at all. That's what we want. And so let's find out what the least possible value of K is. So we're going to have x times kx minus 56. And I'm going to add my slider K. And then they tell us that E equals negative 16. Okay, well, what happens when we put an equal sign? This is one thing I want to talk to you guys about. If you have a quadratic and you go to graph it in Desmos and you put an equal sign, you're going to see lines straight up and down like this. That's because Desmos is trying to just find the solutions to the quadratic. So if you want to see that nice parabola shape, add the 16 over to the other side and take away the equal sign. Now we can actually see the parabola. Do you guys see that? We need to be able to see the parabola too, because I want to move K around until there's no solution. And as you can see right now, we have two solutions at these random decimals hitting the x-axis. Now, when I move K, what happens? Well, it looks like once I get up to 10, I'm close to getting right over it, but not quite. So I'm going to go bigger and change my interval, and let's move it again. Okay, I'm gonna zoom in. Check it out. When K is 50, I'm not touching. If K is 49, I am touching. So the minimum value that K could be, it looks like, is 50 for there to be no solution. All right, my last prediction deals with factors of a quadratic. This is a very popular problem right now. So they said, which of the following expressions has a factor of x plus 2b, where b is a positive integer constant? Okay, if I have a factor of x plus 2b, the first thing I want to figure out is what is my other factor. And when I look at all those answer choices, look at how your leading term is 3x squared and the last term is 14b, no matter what answer choice it is. So to get 3x squared, I need this to be a 3x. And to get 14b, I need this to be a plus 7. So the only thing in question now is, well, what middle term is going to work to make b a positive integer constant? What's an integer? It is a whole number. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually think about, well, what makes my middle terms? This times this, so I have 6bx, and this times this, so I have plus 7x. Now let's test one. Let's just say we're going to test c. Can that equal 42x? Well, if I take 7x away, I have 6bx equals 35x. And then if I divide by 6x to solve for b, 35 is not divisible by 6, so b will not be an integer constant. So that's why c does not work. If you test a and b, the same thing will happen. Let me show you why d is the right answer. So let's change that. Let's make it 49x. Take 7x away. What do you get? Well, you have 6bx equals 42x. I can already see this is going to work because 42 is divisible by 6. So when I divide both sides by 6x, b ends up being 7, which is an integer. So the answer is D. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. That is it for my predictions video. I hope you found it helpful. I can't wait for you to go in there and crush some March SAT. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, please type cram in the comments below. And until next time, guys, happy prepping.